This is a 7800 paddle controller. Have you ever seen anything this cool before in your life? I didn't think so. Later on in the show, I'm going to tell you how you could enter to win your very own pair of 7800 paddle controllers. Stay tuned. Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome back to another episode of the Lynx Lounge. I'm your host, BTB, and today we are looking at Ninja Gaiden 3. That's right, I said Gaiden. Look, we went over this before on the last review, Ninja Gaiden. We always called it Ninja Gaiden. So guess what? I'm going to call it Ninja Gaiden today, and every time I do, you can put a thumbs down. Okay? It's my show. I'm calling it Ninja Gaiden. Alright, folks, this is a completely different game than the last version of Ninja Gaiden that I shared with you. Remember, that one was the arcade version. This one is the NES version. So now we've got this weird swap that happened. We didn't get 2, which was strange. We got 3, the Ancient Ship of Doom. And it's a completely different experience. So let's go ahead and take a look at what makes Ninja Gaiden 3 different than the last Ninja Gaiden that I shared with you. Shall we? Let's go. I hope you get your shurikens sharpened because you're going to need them. Let's go. Okay, so right off the bat, you are going to see that this is a completely different experience than the last Ninja Gaiden that we showed. Why is that? Well, this is from the NES port. And you can see right off the bat, the sprites are different. They are a little bit smaller. Actually, they're a lot smaller. A little bit grainy. You can see that the Lynx has this... everything is very kind of square, as far as their pixels go. And this definitely shows that off in this. It's almost like the pixels are just a little bit too small in order for it to work on the screen. That being said, it's still the great action, the fast-paced, frenetic action that made the NES Ninja Gaiden so awesome and so hard. I mean, let's be honest. This is not a game for the faint of heart. This is a game where you have to have the skills going into it and know that it is going to be a challenge. This is no walk in the park. I had a version of this for the Game Gear, and again, it was a completely different game, completely different art style, animation. It was just its own thing for the Game Gear, just like the original Ninja Gaiden for the Lynx was the arcade version. And then we had the third installment for the NES one on the Lynx. So, I guess Ninja Gaiden has many different forms on many different platforms. So if you were looking for the fast-paced action that the NES game has, this is the one for you. I will say, it sounds good. It has great cinemas. I mean, that was sort of like the thing that was so kind of groundbreaking back in the day, even on the NES, was that, you're playing this game and it's this story. It's not just the levels. Now it's like these, anime cutscenes, and you're getting engrossed in the story. And it was super cool. Very, very, very cool, especially at that time period. And you get that here with this as well. You're learning more about the story. And the presentation is really beautiful. The sound is awesome. The music is good. There is one problem with this game. The one problem that I have is the controls. It has nothing to do with the way it was programmed. What it has to do with is this giant crosspad right here. Now, we've talked about this before. We've talked about how in split second games that you have to have, you know, precise control, and that sometimes this pad is just a little bit too big in order for me to travel fast enough to make those split-second decisions. So to me, this game would be much better if this pad was a little bit smaller. I played this game on a RetroPie recently just to see if that was actually the case. The controller that I was using was sort of like a USB, you know, cheap USB controller. I think it was $10, but it was the Super Nintendo variant. It looked exactly like a Super Nintendo, and the crosspad was smaller. I was able to play this game with a little bit more precise control than the actual Atari Lynx. Why? It's because that big old crosspad. Now, any other game would be great because I have big hands. So having a bigger controller was always a benefit for me. I love the fact that the Lynx is this big, beefy system. My hands fit perfectly in it, and my thumb fits perfectly on that crosspad. But for this game, for whatever reason, it's just a little bit too difficult. Now, is that a deal breaker? No, that's not a deal breaker. But that is something that you have to get used to. You have to get used to playing with the lag. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is something that we've all learned to deal with growing up. You buy a game, it's a little buggy, it's a little laggy, but guess what? I've committed to that game. I just bought that game. I spent money on it. I've got to learn to play within the lag. This is a perfect example of how I need to be 2 steps ahead of everything because I'm playing with the lag. And not necessarily the lag of the game, but the lag of the controller input. So, does that mean that Ninja Gaiden 3 is a deal breaker on the Lynx? Absolutely not. If you are a fan of Ninja Gaiden, I definitely hope that you go pick that up. You might already have it, and you might agree with me. Hey, this is a great game. It's just completely different. It's like apples and oranges, really. If you have the arcade version and this version, 2 different games. Same ninja, but just 2 different games. If you like cinematics, if you like ninja stars, if you like swords and ninjas crawling up buildings, guess what? This is the game for you. Unless you really can't take it because it is a hard game. And if you want a challenge, this is the game for you. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Lynx Lounge. I hope to see you soon. Many more episodes coming up. We are checking out platformers and all these other cool games that the hero has to run right, and this is where you're going to find out all that information on Lynx Lounge, and I will see you on the next episode. Cheers. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. How do I get my hands on a pair of these? It's really easy. You need to do 2 things. Number 1, you're going to subscribe to the channel. If you've already subscribed, don't worry about it. If you haven't, hit the subscribe button. Second, you are going to participate in a high score squad challenge at Atari.io. You can join in any and every high score squad challenge at Atari.io up until December 1st. Every squad challenge you enter is another chance to win. Now do me a favor, shout me out when you post your high score. Make sure you say BTB, enter me to win, and it's all good to go. On December 1st, 2020, we are going to do a drawing and we are going to see who is the lucky person that is going to win these beautiful bad boys right here. I wish you all the best of luck. And while you're participating in the High Score Squad, check out Atari.io. They've got all of the cool things that we all love talking about. We love talking about video games, we love talking about retro stuff, vintage stuff, we love talking about TurboGrafx 16, Sega, Nintendo, all of the kits, all of the classics. and it's all there at Atari.io. Good luck in the contest, and I will see you in the forums at Atari.io. See you later.
Check out Atari.io for the very best in retro life and classic gaming. From Atari to Nintendo, Sega, TurboGrafx, and beyond. Atari.io.